Awesome. So, um, to everyone here in the room and watching at home, thank you and welcome to this week's event where we're going to focus on music blocks, visual programming, and specifically, we're going to work together to create a musical square. So I have in the room with me, I've got uh, Walter Bender and Rafa. I'll introduce Rafa because he's got a full room full of kids, but he's an instructor um, for MAP Family Learning Center, and he just started using music blocks very, very recently, but he successfully did today's lesson plan. I saw the whole thing. Um, and he's going to have about 10 kids trying the same lesson plan with us simultaneously in real life. Walter Bender, why don't you introduce yourself just briefly, because we're going to get to the hands-on activity, but your involvement
Sure.
in
Yeah, we'll,
music
we'll,
blocks.
we'll keep it real quick. I'm Walter Bender. I'm one of the co-founders of Sugar Labs, and Devin and I are sort of the initiators of the Music Blocks project at Sugar Labs. And I guess, Devin, do you want me to talk Music Blocks a little bit, or do you want to do that part?
No, yeah, go ahead and talk music blocks.
Okay, sure. So Seymour Papert back in the day used to talk about something called Mathland. And the idea was if you want to learn math, why not be immersed in a world of mathematics and a world of tools that let you explore powerful ideas in math. And Devin and I, in the Music Blocks effort, are really making Musicland. We're making a place where the learner can explore ideas about music and build things, construct ideas, make mistakes, debug, and be expressive. And it's super fun. It's actually one of my favorite projects from Sugar Labs of all time, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, Devin, over to you.
Uh, yeah, I've enjoyed working on it. I guess just a brief background. So I'm a musician, and you know, um, working on this project together with Walter, I learned a lot about computation myself. Um, but through computation, I've learned a lot more about music than I did originally. So it's been a pleasure working on this project, and it has been satisfying from a musical perspective. Um, and I guess I'll just leave it at that, and then we can start the activity because time is of the essence. Um, okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I think actually, let me clear my screen. Otherwise, I'm like giving it all away. um, first. Okay, so actually, yeah, so if you go to musicblocks.sugarlabs.org, you can try along on your computer. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we see it.
I don't know if the YouTube chat lets me put in links, but it's musicblocks.sugarlabs.org. So when you start, you get something like this. Where are my blocks? I'm going to change the width of my browser. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so you get something like this, just a little review. The way I like to think about it, as I guess because I'm a musician, is I think of the mouse in the middle as the performer, and the performer performs whatever is in its script, and its script is over here in the start block. And right now we have 3 notes, sol, mi, and sol. And the performer is going to play that on the guitar. We're going to get to the music, but today's we're going to start from making a square. So the tools for making a square are over here in the graphics palette. So we can just start with 2 blocks. We can start with just like forward and right, and the mouse again does whatever is in its script or whatever you tell it to do. If you want it to like rehearse something to kind of preview what one of these blocks does, you can click on it, and it will do as you have conducted it to do. So I can go forward, and you can preview what that's like. I can tell it to turn right, and you can see what that does. And so these are the basic constructs for, making art, basically, with music blocks. So from here, you can ask yourself, like, how do I make, a square? So you have some tools in here, and, you can problem solve a little bit. So I have forward, I have right, in what order do I go in to make a square? What other things might I need to do that? And then there's like one more thing that I should show you that could be useful, and that's here. So if I go to the flow palette, I have a few blocks. One of them is repeat, right at the very top. I can pull that out. And so whatever's in here, I can repeat it. If I put forward in here, it's going to go forward 4 times as much as if I didn't have it in there. And if I put right in, it's going to basically just circle back to the beginning. So if you're trying this at home, this is the point when you can problem solve a little bit, and with forward, right, and repeat, see if you can use those to make a square. Walter, do you have anything to add?
Just that to square is one of the very first things that was taught with Logo back in the 1960s. So this is a sort of one of the original Logo programs, but in the form of the music block system. And it's great that actually to do this exercise with the learners, actually where they physically are walking and walking in a pattern of a square, and you can designate one student to be the conductor to direct the other students who are doing their walking, and see if they can give the commands to make a square. So that's usually the sort of the traditional warm-up exercise for this Logo event.
Yeah, and for the lesson plan I gave Rafa, or the advice I guess I gave him, it has that at the very beginning. So he perhaps is doing that right now with the kids.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes in the music blocks lessons, we try to have the kids gather around and do an experiment in the physical world that will then be mirrored somewhat in the virtual music block world. So they get this physical experience first in most of our lessons.
Awesome. Yeah, so again, I told Rafa to kind of like focus on the people in front of him first and foremost. But I like to imagine that that's what he's doing right now. And he'll check in when he can. So and actually, speaking of logo, what inspired me to make this lesson plan was watching a video of Cynthia Solomon, go through this exact same lesson plan with turtle blocks. Okay, so if one of these is like one side of the square and you do it 4 times, and that brings you to the complete square, then you can just put that in here. And that does the same thing, and you can get all the way around, and you can get a square, which in itself is a powerful moment when you're exploring with music blocks, but you can take it further than that. So let me look. When I changed the frame size, I had to change everything I was looking at on the computer. One thing really simple that you can do that's fun is you can change the color. So again, the mouse is our performer and it does whatever is in its script or anything you tell it to do over here. I forgot to mention that the mouse has a pen in its grasp, and it's got it right on the canvas. And every time it moves, it draws something. And so by default, this is the color of the pen, but you can change it by pulling out set color from the pen palette. And we do color by number, and we have this handy pie menu that you can see what color 20 is, what color 10 is. And we'll get back to this more, but a simple extension of what you have right here is just to add your square to set color, and then you've got a different color. Okay, so let's make the square musical. So I put all of these notes to the side at the beginning, but let's take them back. Actually, let me pull out a new one so you can see where they are. If you go back here, so on the far right, we've got all the pen things. In the middle, we have the computation and math palettes. And then on the far left, we have all of the music palettes. And at the very top, in the rhythm palette, we have the note block. So if you click on this and pull this out, you get a new note, and by default, it's at sol. Its length is the value, so 1/4 is a quarter note. If you want to change the pitch, you can go here and you get this wonderful pie menu with solfege, and you can just go through it until you find the pitch you like. I want to just keep it at sol. And this is kind of a subtle thing, but I think this is a really cool thing. So I wanted to show this. So I can put forward inside of the note block, and it'll actually, let me just play the note first. So this is the note block without anything other than sol in it. So it's going to play this note. If I put forward in here, it'll play that note and it'll go forward over the length of time of a quarter note. So notice it took its time to go over the length of that line. That's different than if I do this and I put forward at the very front, at the very top, and then do sol. So in this case, moving forward real fast and then playing sol. And then if I put that forward at the very bottom, then it plays sol and then it goes forward. I just realized that this was the part that I was going to hand off to you, Walter. Do you want me to keep going, or?
I think you should just keep going. I think it's be easier if we don't switch back
Okay.
and forth. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine with me, but I will have to take a drink of tea. You know, and one thing that you can do to kind of like make this more obvious is, you know, I could change this to like 1/1, which is going to be even slower as it moves forward 100. So I think that is actually really powerful, and we can use that in a number of different ways, which we'll get to in just a sec. Yeah.
Devin,
So
can you just put the right inside the note so they can see what that does?
yeah. So if I put right in, here I'll do it back at a quarter note. And maybe repeat that. So I'm going to clear the screen, so I'm back to the beginning. So now I've got kind of like a musical clock. Is that what you wanted?
Yep. That's just what I wanted to sort of see, that the whatever you put in there graphically extends across the duration of the note. So it could be the turning, it could be the moving forward or backward, arcs, whatever you put in there.
Yeah. Awesome. So I could keep putting, you know, these blocks in these different notes, and I could put that in here. You know, I could put forward, I could put right, you know, in like this, and it'll be doing different things, and that's kind of cool. Here, let's preview this, and I can show you what that looks like. But I can also do something else with this. Every time a note happens, that's a type of event. And I can use this special block that we have over here that knows every time a note is playing, and you can tell it to do something special every time a note plays. So we were at the rhythm palette. We pulled out a note block. Let's just go down to the next palette below that. We have different blocks here for meter, beats per minute, and the fourth one down is on every note due. So if I pull this one out, this is the special block that knows every time a note plays. And I can use that to make, you know, a musical square. I can use it to do a lot of different things, but that's what we're going to focus on today. So I'll put that at the very beginning. Notice how it says on every note due action. So right now I don't have an action. So I haven't actually defined what it's going to do. I go back here to that middle palette that has the math things, the computation things, and I showed flow earlier, which has repeat. Right below that is the action palette. And I want this one that's the second one down. And when I pull it out, by default, its name is action, which is really convenient because then if I want to do something like this, I don't have to change it. And I can put my forward and right in here. Because remember that was one side of the square. Whenever I do that, I get one side of my square. So now if I run this, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 sides of my square because I have 3 note blocks. And notice how that last one just took like a little bit longer to go the same length as the first one and turn right. So I don't have a complete square. So I just need to do one more thing to complete this, and add one more part of my melody to have a complete square. And I can choose any notes I want. So and I just want them all quarter notes. I can change the color. Here, let's do purple. And there we have it. We have a musical square. So this is nice, but we can take it even further. So I have this, I'm starting to make something that sounds like a melody. I can pull out a new action block. I can take all these notes that I made, I can put them in here. And notice how when I pulled out this action block over here, I got a new block called action 1. By default, it just gives them all, action 1, action 2 names. I can call it something like square phrase. And then over here, the action block that had the same name gets the same name. So I can pull this over. And whatever's in here, it'll do whenever I, run the code over here in this action block. So I click on this. It'll play those notes. So I can put it in here and it'll play those notes as guitar. I still have on every note do, so it's going to do the sides of the square. And this is nice because I can reuse it. And I can modify it in different ways. So this is where the music tools can get really powerful. So I go over here, and the fourth one down in the music palettes is is the interval palette, and inside here I can set the key. I have this block called scalar interval, which will add notes at an interval that I specify. So when at default you get the number 5, I'm going to pull out 2 so you can get kind of like a preview of some of these different numbers. And since I'm doing that, let me pull out one more of these. So here. So now it's going to play it with scalar interval at 5 and at 2, bookended by this square phrase melody without anything. Awesome. So Walter, what do you think we should do next?
So now I think what we should do is add a turn in between the squares. So maybe go to the graphics palette and grab a right block. And let's stick that at the end of the square phrase.
Inside the action block?
Yeah, just inside the action block at the very end. And instead of turning right 90, let's turn right, say, 30. And now let's see what happens. Anybody have a guess as to what's going to happen? So we're starting to make some shapes with our music.
Yeah,
And
no,
then,
that's a cool shape.
yeah, and then you could do something like maybe change the color as it goes along. There's the yeah, maybe the adder function. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is boxes. So this is also in that computation place. This is a lot of fun. So this is a special trick. You're getting, anyone watching this is getting like an inside bag of tricks here. What number do you think we should do?
How about 8? And stick that in there too. Yep.
Okay. So we start with color of 80, and after we play the square phrase, we add 8 to color.
Nice.
Awesome. I like it.
So, yeah, I mean, the world's your oyster now. We can really start to go to town. I really like, maybe we should do something where well, we could start to get really fancy, but it seems to me when we're doing the scalar interval, we've got a little bit more oomph, and maybe we should take advantage of that oomph to go a little bit farther. So, do you want to bear with me for this? Let's go.
Sure.
All right. So let's go to the box palette and just store in a box. See store in box.
Or just store in box, or?
Sure. Either one. That's fine. Put 100 there. So put store in box 100. Okay. And stick that at the beginning at the, actually put that right in front of the first square phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now grab another one, store in box, and this time put 200. Put that in front of the scalar interval one. And then we'll leave it, and then get one more that we'll put in front of the last square phrase, but this time put 100 again. Okay, and now, well, not there. One more down. Stick it there. And then in your action, instead of going forward 100, go forward by box. So we're going to change how far it goes depending on what we've stored in the box. So when it gets to the forward,
oops. That would be very experimental.
Yeah, all right, that works too. All right, so let's see what this does. Why don't you erase the screen? And it should, with those interval ones, it should go farther. Let's see.
Awesome.
So
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, so we're starting to make a little bit of a mapping between what's going on musically and what's going on graphically.
You gave me an idea.
Like
So
idea.
yeah, so since I already have a 2 and a 5 here, yeah, we want to keep that at 100. But
You could put another store in between.
Yeah. So let's add this here. I see. So I'd have to divide it by 100.
Tell us what you're trying to do, then we can watch.
Well, I think it's structured a little bit differently to do what I was originally thinking. So I was thinking, this is 5, so it would go like 500. This is scalar interval 2, so it would go 200. So I was thinking putting in box like 5 here and then 2 here, or actually the times 100 could be over here.
Yep.
And then I can just put 1. Oh, yeah, and then 5, and then I'll put a box in here. And then 2, and then back to 1.
Yeah, this could be pretty cool.
There we go.
Very nice.
Someone just joined, except I only have like one screen at a time. Oh, Henry, you're here.
Hi.
Welcome.
Sorry I'm late. I was at school.
It's okay. It's totally understandable that you would be late because of school.
Don't be a fool. Stay in school.
Yeah. So we just got to the point of making a musical square, and we were experimenting a little bit. But this is about the time I had scheduled to move on to example projects.
Okay.
But maybe Henry, you can introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Henry. I'm in 6th grade, and I've been doing music blocks for a long time. I don't know how long. Yeah.
I think it was since 2nd grade. So
Yeah, 2nd grade.
like
yeah. So 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we started right before the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was 2nd grade then. 4 years. Yeah.
Awesome. So I spent a little time like looking for your projects. Do you want me to just I could just load them, and you could or you could share. Do you want to share your screen? Do you have them loaded up?
No, I don't. You could I'm not sure because like it's not the same computer as I did them on. So
Okay.
Why don't you load them, and then Henry can just describe what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for anyone watching, the hocus pocus I'm doing is you go over here, you click on this icon that looks like a planet. It's find and share projects. You can see I've got the project that I just made right here. If I go to global, I can see everyone who's published their projects up here. And Henry did put his name on some of these. So so a few that I thought were pretty cool. But did you have one that in particular you wanted to show?
I mean, there was like the game with like the icicles and all that, like Mouse Let's Climb, but I don't think I ever uploaded like the latest version.
Okay. Well, maybe we could start with this poem one. I thought this was pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. That is me, Enrico. Yeah. Okay.
There was one that was like a very box one. I'm trying to. But anyways, let's start with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So the description here is poem by Henry plays a beat as it shows the poem.
I don't really. Okay.
Do you remember this, or was this like so long ago you don't
I
remember
think
it?
I feel like I remember writing a poem like for Music Block. I'm not sure. I think I do remember writing a poem for Music Blocks once.
Actually, let's look at the code. Wow, this has a lot of stuff on here. I was expecting.
Yeah, I bet I could have made this simpler. This looks okay.
Yeah, the poem is in here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you just put each word in the poem in the stack and just pull things off the stack and display them.
Yeah, it looks like it pushes
Yeah.
each word here and then pulls them out every time there is a note.
Mm-hmm.
There's the notes. This has a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
The case block. Cool, and a lot of cool colors. There was one that looked just like a square, which I thought was really appropriate for. But for some reason, I'm not finding it. Is it this one?
Yeah.
No, is that yours?
No, I don't play guitar. It says the description is I like to play guitar. So.
Okay, so
I don't
yeah,
know.
the video game ones are these Henry Hero, but I couldn't find the latest one. But the polyrhythms one, am I passing over it? Oh, there it is. This one is really cool.
Okay. Polyrhythm of 2s and 3s, it says. Okay.
Do you remember this? Or is this all?
Not yet. Maybe if you play it, I'll remember, but I don't think so. No, I don't remember this one.
Well, even if you don't remember it, you can see the code here. Do you? Can you explain what's going on here with this one?
Yeah, it looks like well, it's obviously it's playing like beats, like it has a gong going at it says one beat long, so
Yeah,
a
so
full measure, I guess.
Yes, exactly. So you have 3 1/3 notes.
Yeah.
So those are like half note triplets, if you want to use the musical jargon.
Mm-hmm. So it has a gong, a cowbell, and a ride bell, and then at every note do action. Okay, so that's the action, I think. Oh no, the action on every note do left. Okay, so it's turning 360 degrees. What? Okay, 360 degrees times note value.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess whatever note it is, then whatever the value is of that note, then it would turn that far.
Yeah, so if it's a 1/3 note, it's going to go 360 times 1/3. So basically 360 divided by 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to go like a third of a circle, right?
Yeah. And then it also, okay, so there's two starts. Oh, okay. That's because there's two mice. So the other start does like almost the same, the same thing, except instead of doing the gong, it's doing the snare.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the snare action, which is to like the right. It repeats 100 times, and it just makes a snare drum noise. So it's forever repeating 100 times.
Yeah, so it might
Yeah.
have been unnecessary to have the repeat 100 in here.
Yeah, and then
But
there seems to be an avatar on the bottom left that never made it into the final cut. So yeah, I guess that's
Put it
it.
in. Put it in somewhere. Do you think it should be in the top of the tower or in the middle of the tower? Probably the top.
top.
Of
The top, right?
the
Yeah.
tower. So stick it in the that start block on the left there. Cool. Let's see what happens.
I like it. Bravo.
Thanks.
Complicated rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also see the rhythm maker here. So
Yeah.
maybe you could walk us through. So probably you started with the rhythm maker here. You workshopped it. Let's assume that that's what you did. How would we make the same rhythm that's being played here in the rhythm maker? Walk me through that. What should I do?
Just like I don't really remember. I haven't worked with the rhythm maker in a while. You know what? I think you first you would start with like a new one, right?
Okay.
And then it has 4 beats over it has 1 beat over 4. Is that right? Like starting?
You're talking about like
Yeah,
this?
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But then from there you gotta yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So over here, this snare action has like eighth notes, right? 1/8. So that divides the whole.
Then
that-
we would do it for 8. Okay. Yeah, like click on each 4.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then for the other one, it's 1/3.
Mhm.
So 1/3.
So you got to change the 2 to a 3 in the divide.
Yeah, because
Okay.
if I click here, I'm gonna get 2 1/2s.
Mhm.
So I got to go over here.
And change it to 3. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you
And
change
now-
it to 3, and now you have 3. Yeah, it worked.
Gotta love the gong.
So long ago that I made this. I do not remember making this.
Great. So thank you for joining us. Nathan, I think, was going to join us pretty soon here, but do you want to say anything about your journey learning music blocks? Pretty soon here, we're going to have some videos of you explaining some awesome projects.
Yeah, so I started learning music blocks with Walter and Devin, and like I did classes over Jitsi and Zoom, I think, and it started with like just like doing like little music things, and then like we would move on to like we would do like these big projects sometimes that would take a little, and sometimes I would go to Walter's house and we would eat donuts and do stuff like that. So yeah, that
You
was,
and you and Teddy got into making musical video games
yeah.
where each of the bosses had their own music, their own theme music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I started this like really big project, and then I haven't finished it yet. I took a huge break from it. I worked on it like maybe like a couple months ago. I started working on it again, and then I stopped again. So I guess I got to get back on that project. But yeah, so I went from not really be like I didn't understand how to code or anything like that, and then now I can code on other platforms as well, music blocks, and yeah, yeah.
And you play a mean piano.
Thanks. Yeah, I do play piano. Yeah. So that helped with the music part of music blocks, because I knew what the notes were, like C and G. Once I figured out that you could change it away from whatever it is, it's I forget, but like once I figured out that you could change it to the actual letters, that helped me so much instead of sol, do, and like Ray, or I think that's what it was. Yeah, once you could change it to like C, G, and A, that helped me so much. That was like the turning point for the music. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that is helpful. So if someone is watching this video either now or in the future and wants to know how to do that, you've got a couple different options. So yeah, if you pull out a note, you get do re mi by default. I'm realizing right now that I don't think there's any easy way to pull it out
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah, you're in
mode.
beginner mode, so I
Yeah.
don't think it has it, but
Um,
maybe that's a bug. Maybe we
Yeah.
should change that.
But yeah, you could also pull it out and get C, D, E, F, G. And then there's actually we can pivot to some other example projects here. And a good one that demonstrates that is like some of the quizzes or the crosswords.
I think I made a crossword once. I forget though. I don't know if I ever published it.
Yeah, so this is a quiz game that someone came up with, and this just uses the musical alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
But does it actually have any blocks with the musical alphabet in it? No, but it takes it in that way. Four-letter word that means the front part of a person's head from the forehead to the chin. And I put
Face.
things- Good job. What? I don't know. I'd have to look at this version to see what's going on. Because it's not supposed to stop like that either.
What?
Wrong. Okay. Let's look at the ones that are actually labeled example. What are your favorites, Walter, that we could show?
Well, the new crossword puzzle one is really kind of fun. But
Can you walk me through that one? Because I didn't quite understand that one. Or walk us through that one.
do you have?
Is it this one, the Haskell?
I don't know. It should be relatively recent. Let me see if I can pull it up locally.
Yeah, I saw a very clever one with many mice. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's a lot of mice.
Yeah.
That's like, oh my god, that's like, how does that not like glitch everything out?
Oh, it's very clever. So see what happens, Devin.
I pressed play.
Oh, you did?
Loading up.
Oh. I guess it's being slow. Okay. So now if you click in the box just to the right of the number 1, for example, this is, yeah. Yeah. Click
This
in the
one?
right there, yeah. And then it's how old you are.
Oh.
Age, yeah. Oh.
Cool. Now I understand how to do it. I just do it one at
Yeah.
a time. And then 3 down, a short-term trend. Henry, what is this?
I have no idea. It's an A in the middle.
Ask your dad. Your dad knows.
Dad, do you know what a short-term trend with an A in the middle, 3 words?
3 letters.
Yes.
Oh, a fad. Yeah, he's a fad.
Yeah, and then
From the musical alphabet. That's cool.
Yeah.
So who made this one, Walter?
It was a bunch of kids this winter, that got interested in doing it. So, but they ended up with a pretty clever solution for how to do it.
So Rafa, the teacher who's joining us, teaching the class, this is his project, his solution to the musical squares. We can show that. I don't know if Rafa's able to join us, but we can check this out.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was his project. I think my computer is, after loading all those mice from the previous project, is a little bit bogged down by that. Maybe Walter, can we switch to your screen, given that, and you can show like 1 or 2 of your favorite demonstrations. You're muted. I'll hit the.
All right, let me just load up one of my favorites. 1 sec. I can find it. Here we go. All right, so this one is kind of fun. What it is it's a, well, you'll see it. Oh, I'm not sharing it. Let me share. Share. One of these buttons is share. Start screen sharing. Allow. Share. All right, do you see my music block screen?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. So what this is going to do is it's going to take this little red ball and it's going to bring it to the top of the screen and drop it down. And each time it drops, it's going to hit a pin and either bounce to the left or the right. And if it bounces to the left, it's going to go down in pitch. And if it bounces to the right, it's going to go up in pitch. And it's randomly choosing whether to go left or right. So let's see what
Okay.
happens. And if I do this, I was just doing that 4 times, but let's do it a bunch of times. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I was doing this in C major, and now I'm going to switch to a different mode. I'm going to switch to this mode, which is a Japanese mode, and you'll hear that it sounds quite different when I do this. So the thing that I like about this program is that just by changing mode, and I'm just choosing random notes, but I'm choosing the notes out of a particular mode. And you can hear then just how much the selection of notes matters in music. The selection of the group of notes you're going to use in your composition makes a huge difference in terms of how your music's going to sound, even if you choose those notes randomly. So that's one of my favorites. So let me stop sharing and hand it back off to Devin.
Yeah, awesome. I'm looking at the clock. I think we have like 1
Yeah.
minute left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Walter. Thank you so much, Henry. And thank you so much, Rafa, for joining, and everyone else who's watching. I hope you learned something. Again, this is brought to you by Sugar Labs. And please visit our website, sugarlabs.org. You can get started with music blocks today. Yeah. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Thanks, Devin. Good to
Thank
see you, Henry.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.